I'm very happy to welcome here Fatih Birol. Indeed, we had a very good discussion on an energy outlook for Europe and how to deal with the unprecedented disruptions that have been caused by Russia's atrocious war. Russia indeed has cut its pipeline supplies by 80% if you compare September this year to September last year, 80%. And we all know that these pipeline gas cuts have added unprecedented pressure on the global energy markets with severe knock-on effects on Europe's energy system. But I want to emphasize that despite these enormous cuts, we have been able to manage, we've been able to withstand the blackmail, we've acted, and we've acted successfully. 7 months ago in May, we have presented our response to this Russian blackmail by putting on the table REPowerEU, our plan to reduce the demand for Russian gas by 2/3 before the end of this year. And we have underpinned this proposal with an investment plan of up to 300 billion euros. And in just a few months, we have turned the REPowerEU plan into many different legislative proposals and actions on the ground. And I think it's worth to look at that. Basically, we have taken in the last 10 months 10 different actions. The first one is we have enormously diversified away from Russian fossil fuels, away from Russian gas supplies, towards other reliable, trustworthy suppliers. Second, we are saving energy. We have introduced, as you all know, the target to reduce gas demand by 15%. And if we look at the data from early autumn, we are very well on track. It's good that we are saving energy, and we have to keep on saving energy. The third point is we are boosting the rollout of renewables. If you look at the year 2022, we will have added almost 50 gigawatt of new capacity. That is almost doubling the capacity, additional capacity of renewable energy, mostly from wind and solar. And this is for us very important because this is not only good for the planet, but we know that renewables are homegrown, they create good jobs here, and they create independence and security of supply. The fourth point is that in this context of renewables, we have proposed to speed up drastically the permitting process for renewables. We know that many projects are basically ready to go if the permitting was there, so this has to be faster. Therefore, we have put a proposal on speeding up the permitting process on the table. The fifth point is that we have put in place a minimum gas storage obligation. Our storages are now filled by more than 90%, so we have overshooted the target. That's very good. And we're well above the previous 5-year average. The sixth point is on solidarity. We have proposed default arrangements for the supply of gas between member states, where solidarity agreements are not in place yet, to make sure in an energy emergency, we can ensure that the gas is going and flowing where it is needed most. The seventh point is we have set up a platform for the joint purchasing of gas to increase our negotiation leverage and get better prices. I think it's unacceptable that different member states are outbidding each other on the global market and thus driving up the prices. Therefore, it is important that we join forces for the negotiation on a global level. The eighth point is we have improved our infrastructure. We have 4 new interconnectors that became operational this year. It's the Baltic Pipe, it's the interconnector Poland-Lithuania, the interconnector between Bulgaria and Greece, and the gas interconnector between Poland and Slovakia. The ninth point I want to highlight is the fact that we have put out a legal framework that enables member states to skim off the windfall profits, the super profits of energy producing companies, to take this money and to support by that in a targeted manner the vulnerable households and the vulnerable businesses. And finally, the 10th point is we proposed a market correction mechanism, known also as the price cap, to limit spikes in gas prices at TTF level. Many of these measures have been adopted, some in record speed, and there are many examples that show that change is beginning. For example, the massive and rapid uptake of heat pumps in Poland. The result of all these actions is that we are safe for this winter. Russia's blackmail has failed. However, some of our proposals are still under discussion, and they are essential for our energy preparedness. Therefore, I call on the Council to adopt them swiftly, because preparing for the next winter, winter 23-24, starts now. And this is now that we're turning our focus on the winter 23-24. I'm very pleased, dear Fatih Birol, that we've worked on that so intensively together. 1 month ago, your message was very clear, and you underpinned your message with figures and numbers. You said very clearly the coming winter will be even more challenging, and Europe needs to step up its efforts in several fields. You outlined the risks. It might be possible that Russia cuts the rest of the pipeline gas supply. China could lift the COVID restriction and thus go back to energy demand on the global market on pre-COVID level. And of course, this year we benefit from an extraordinary warm winter. This also could be different next year. I know from your data that despite the action that we have taken, we might still face a gap of up to 30 billion cubic meter of gas next year. The actions that we have set in motion will help cover part of this, but more is needed. And here I want to look at a few priorities we need to focus on. The first one is, of course, the LNG supply. I'm confident that we will secure similar volumes of LNG next year as we had this year. This year we had up to 130 billion cubic meter of LNG. And for this, of course, we have to further intensify our outreach to our international partners. My second point is it is time now that we make joint purchasing a reality. We have the energy platform in place. We have to operationalize it now in the joint purchasing mechanism. Every day of delay comes with a price tag. We have discussions with member states, partner countries and their companies that are ongoing. This evening, tonight, I will discuss this matter with the Norwegian Prime Minister, for example. We can launch the first tender for demand aggregation by the end of March, but for that, we need to have an agreement on the emergency regulation we proposed on the 18th of October, and we need it now. And my final point is that the greatest potential for energy in the European Union is in our own hands. We must scale up and accelerate the deployment of renewables. We must go big and we must be fast. With the right policies in place, we can even double the capacity of renewable energy that we add to the market next year. And the case has never been better. In 22, we had record additions of wind and solar capacity to the European Union, and we expect renewable capacity to rise even further in the coming year, replacing around 12 billion cubic meter of gas. And you are showing us with your additional measures that we can add an additional 7.5 billion cubic meters. So if you look at the overall scope, efficiency, savings, joint purchasing, renewables, this might be the mixture we need to make up for the missing gas next year. We've taken the action that is necessary. Our proposals are now on the table. My last comment is on the bigger picture. Because if we look at the bigger picture, we also see that we need an increase in public investment in the energy transition. mostly to ensure the competitiveness of our European industry in the energy transition. We need additional public investment on a national level and on a European level. You know that in the short term, we will propose to boost REPowerEU. REPowerEU is our vehicle, the framework for investment in clean tech. We will propose to boost it. And this is one part of our response to the US Inflation Reduction Act. But we also know that in the midterm, we have to step up. And there we will work on setting up a sovereignty fund to make sure that Europe continues to be the global leader in clean tech. Where we have to help our industry is now in this high energy price environment to make the transition, to bridge the transition to green, clean energy that is affordable and secure, and therefore this funding is necessary. Our work has been good this year. We see the progress. We have come quite a long way, but we know that we are not done with our work till families and business in the European Union have access to energy that is affordable, that is secure, and that is clean. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, President.